I'm Clive Rossfield, brother and shield of Joshua, and you're watching Primalliquid.
Well, the title and the thumbnail have literally given everything away about this video, so let's talk about why the Final Fantasy IX Remake is not only back in the news right now, but also extremely back in the news. Now, one of the things you might have heard recently is a person called Jeff Grubb. If you followed anything at all to do with the FF9 Remake in the past couple of weeks, you would have seen his name. Why? Because he confirmed on Giant Bomb that one of his insiders has confirmed FF9 is still in development. Now, here's a thing, right? Here's a thing. Over the last couple of years, we have had basically hundreds of things that point to an FF9 remake, all starting with the Nvidia leak. Now, if you don't remember what the Nvidia leak was, they essentially released a whole document of unannounced games that they are working on developing, drivers for and stuff like that, just so it works on PC. Now, on this list, there was a whole bunch of things that just seemed incredibly unlikely, just things that we never thought would actually happen. There was the Chrono Cross, the Radical Dreamers, there was Street Fighter 6, Crysis 4, Sniper Elite 5, Grand Theft Auto Trilogy, and then we also had Kingdom Hearts 4 announced as well. And considering how close that leak happened to after Kingdom Hearts 3 released, everyone was like, no way, this list has to be fake. But then, near enough everything on that list has been confirmed. So now, Jeff Grubb, if you don't know, is pretty much a well-known leaker. Okay, not only for video games, but also, technology and stuff like that. He has not a perfect track record. Like, he has announced some things that have not become true, but that could just be projects getting cancelled and things like that. However, one thing that is confirmed is he does have the sources in a lot of different companies. So when he confirmed on Giant Bomb, which actually, if I just change the screen over right now, okay, so this is Jeff Grubb right here. If we just scroll all the way up to the top, this is Jeff Grubb that you can search up yourself. I'm not going to go too much into who he is, what he does, or anything like that. If you wanna find that out, then by all means conduct your own research, because your own research will always be better than whatever anybody else actually tells you. So 100% definitely look Jeff Grubb up, look at his past releases in terms of leaks and stuff like that, and just check his own track record for yourself. So this right here is Jeff Grubb. He does a lot of reporting on things, and it was Giant Bomb that actually he made the announcement on, that an insider at Square Enix has confirmed that FF9 is still in development. It is still being worked on. It's not gone or anything like that. And Giant Bomb is quite a large organization. It's quite a large, essentially, podcast at the end of the day, but a lot of news does go through there as well. So we have two quite big sources now that it's been talked about, but let's actually talk about the leak itself. So this is from Push Square, just a very simple article. This is as if hit with the recommended dose of echo screen, the silence surrounding the long-rumored remake of Final Fantasy IX has lifted once again. Noted industry insider and white mage Jeff Grubb has fanned the flames of speculation this time, reigniting the unholy conflagration of this game mess morning shows over at Giant Bomb. With each passing day, the infamous Nvidia leak has proven more accurate, and it was there we first learned of the fan favorite entry's intended remake. Grubb says he's received reassurance the project is still happening very recently, although the jury's still out as to the extent of the remake, something along the lines of the recent Crisis Core reunion, and not so much like FF7 remake. Honestly, that to me is pretty normal in terms of, you know, getting the full 7 treatment. I don't think 9 needs it, and I think the general art style in 9 doesn't really lend itself to it either. I would probably assume they would go more along the lines of Kingdom Hearts, or maybe even a little bit like Memoria, you know? Because, I mean, the art style does lend itself really well to that kind of style, rather than trying to make it look really clean and crisp like the 7 Remake. But then we also have an article here as well. Now, this is from Insider Gaming. Obviously, they report on all leaks and stuff like that, but it just gives us a little bit more detail into what Jeff Grubb says. So, according to journalist Jeff Grubb, the remake of the classic PlayStation title from 2000 is real. Most of the Square Enix games from the Nvidia leak in early 2023, I mean, the leak happened way earlier than 2023. I think it was like 2020 that the leak happened. But they have been confirmed or even come out by now, except for Final Fantasy IX Remake and Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster. Grubb said on his Game Mess Mornings podcast, "I will say I heard very recently, once again, Final Fantasy IX Remake is real. That is real and happening." Now, does this confirm anything? No. It is still, you know, it's still not come from the horse's mouth. It's not come from Square Enix. However, I will say, okay, this article here as well, Square Enix have been approached for comment, but they've declined to answer. Now, that is not rare, but it's also a little unusual. Normally, when something is completely out of the ballpark, you know, they'll just say, no, there's nothing going on or anything like that. However, feigning silence is a little interesting. I mean, it's been done before, you know, where they don't comment on leaks. Most of the time, they typically do, however. So I do think that should be taken under advisement as well. But does this mean it's confirmed? No, it is definitely not confirmed. It's just one more step in the set of stairs for the FF9 remake. I mean, right now we're on like stair 200, you know? We've had so many things come out that are pointing to the remake. And this one now is another credible source of information. You know, this isn't some little 20 follower Twitter account, you know. This is someone with proven links to the inside of the gaming industry. So whether it's true, whether it's not true, we don't know. However, we can definitely take this one as a little bit more credible than some of the other bits of news we have had. Now, if it is true, okay, if it is true, then that would mean that it has been worked on for a while. Obviously, Square Enix, large company, they have hundreds of different teams. They can work on multiple things at once. Just look at FF16 and Rebirth. They are releasing like 6 months apart. Look at Crisis Core Reunion. That only released 6 months ago. So there's 3 massive AAA titles released by Square Enix in less than 12 months apart from each other. So they definitely have the resources and the capability to run multiple developments at once. And if this is only going to be a remake along the lines of Crisis Core Reunion, the team needed for such a task would be much smaller than for, say, Rebirth or 16, you know? And obviously, once a team is finished on 16 or Rebirth, like the artists and the music and stuff like that, once they are done on that, they're not going to sit there twiddling the thumbs. They're going to move on to other projects. So it is entirely possible that once development was finished for 16 in terms of the general art, maybe some of them moved over. Maybe some music creators for Rebirth moved over. We don't know. When it comes to game development, one of the things that is pretty much worked on the longest is the coding side of things. So any coders currently on a project will typically stay on that project until release. Things like artists, voice actors, music production, you know, all of these things typically are finished quite early on into development, because you've got all the core concepts and all that sort of stuff. Same with the writers. Once once the story is done, the writers will move on to another project as well. So this could have been, this could have started development back during the early leak with NVIDIA, but we just don't know. Now, in terms of is it real or not, honestly, at this point, I have no idea. We don't know if it is. A lot of the evidence is pointing towards it is, but until Square Enix actually confirm it, we don't know. However, okay, if we look at the current release schedule for Square Enix, we had Crisis Core in, December just gone, December 2022. We've got Final Fantasy 16, dropping in a couple of weeks from now. So that's June 2023. We've got Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, which is early 2024, which we now know. So with that, that's 3 big hitters within 12 months. We don't know what they have for the year after, though. We don't know what they have for the rest of 2024. Yes, there's more than likely going to be a Final Fantasy 14 expansion, but that seems a little lackluster for a year after this year. So could we have an announcement soon from them? Honestly, it's entirely possible. We are now in the age of a lot of news events coming out, and then obviously we have TGS later this year, which Square quite enjoys revealing new information at. We have the chance for Square to do their own event as well. So I think this is one of those things that we are going to have to sort of wait and see on. But I do think that this lends a lot of credibility to the FF9 remake rumor mill. But for now, we're going to have to wait and see. What I will do is I will put links down below in the description to Jeff Grubb's Twitter, to Giant Bomb's Twitter, and then also to the articles that I've just shown on stream. You guys can take a look yourselves, make your own judgment. Okay, do your own research and make your own judgment. Don't trust my reporting. Don't trust another YouTuber's reporting. You can only ever trust your own judgment whenever these things happen. Also, please keep in mind, no matter what, this is still essentially a leak. So please take all of this information with a pinch of salt. But we're going to wrap up here, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this little news blast, and I hope you are as excited as I am for the possibility of an FF9 remake. As always, though, everybody, thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.